In today's video, we are going to be breaking down the footwork that Nikola Jokic uses in the low post, some of the up fakes that he uses as well, so that we can understand how we can also score just like Nikola Jokic in the low post. If you are a center or a forward or just somebody who wants to mix it up in the low post, this is definitely the video for you. Let's get down. Let's check out Jokic, the Joker. Okay, so in this first clip, what we're seeing is a quick up fake, quick jab, and then a baby hook over top of Rudy Gobert. Let's really break this down. Let's see how he is able to do this. Okay, so what we have is a couple of pound dribbles and getting his shoulder into the chest of that defender. From there, when he does his pivot, he wants to do a quick shot fake, and by doing this, you can bring your right leg, if you're spinning towards that side, you can bring that right leg out, which is going to help sell that fake. At this time, you can step through, make it look like you're going to go and continue on into that left direction, and then spin back around. This is all pivot work, this is all footwork, and then you can get that baby hook over that defender. The other reason why this is effective is to make these help side defenders stay off of you, which is very important, keeping them away from you. And then it also gets that defender, that main defender in that low post on you, back down onto his heels, which will allow you to get that shot over top of him. We can see here, after that jab, it makes Rudy Gobert move slightly towards that side. And then it slightly gets him down onto his heels right there, as I mentioned earlier. And now he is reaching over, so we could have you go up with your left arm if you're strong enough and still do that baby hook and potentially get that and one. But instead, Jokic does fade away from that shot, and he's able to make it. I really like Jokic when he's facing up in what I call the mid post, which is roughly this area. The reason for that is because now, unlike most players, they'll try to hop into a drive, which is actually a travel, but they generally don't call it. I like it how Jokic does it because it's not a travel. He brings that pivot foot around, he keeps his main pivot foot down on the ground when he takes his dribble, which then allows him not to travel. He takes one dribble, a second dribble, plants that right foot, gets that shoulder into his defender, and then he's able to spin off 1-2, and then he's able to go up for that baby hook. We have to really practice our baby hooks just for the in-game purpose, because they are very hard to defend. If you can do a quick spin move around your defender, you can do that quite easily. However, I really want to also point out what else Jokic does, and this is something that a lot of players don't do. We have Anthony Davis's arm in between the body and off arm of Jokic. Jokic is able to grab that arm even though it's within sight of that referee. Now, this is technically not allowed, but not many referees call it, and when they do call it, they usually call it as a foul on this guy for reaching in. He's able to hook that arm. We're able to see that arm hooked right there, which then brings that defensive player out towards the opposite side as to which you're rolling, and it should create an open layup for you. And that's what we see right here. If you can get that hook set, there's going to be a 33% chance, from what I've seen, in you getting called for the foul, a 33% chance of nothing happening, and then another 33% chance of this player getting called for the foul himself. So here we have Jokic again pounding into Rudy Gobert. Right here, he does a quick hop into Gobert's chest. He's able to plant that right foot and gets that shot fake up. Now, if your defender also has his hand way up and hops towards that right side, what you need to do is to then swipe through with your elbows up. You're allowed to protect the ball. This is why you want to have the ball over top of your elbows. If he was to swipe through with the ball in front of his face instead and have his elbows straight out and make contact with Gobert's face, that would be a foul on Jokic. However, if you can keep that ball almost 90 degrees above those elbows, what you want to see is now a swipe through, which is what we're able to do here. Now, as long as that ball is over top of those elbows, which we do here, basically that should be, if there is contact, a foul on him. If that ball is behind the elbows, this is just purely what I understand by the rules and what I've seen being called, then it's a foul on you if the ball is behind the elbows, because then that's showing to the referee that you're trying to hit that that defensive player with your elbows. If you can keep that ball over top or in front of your elbows and you make contact, generally that's a foul on him. What we see is Jokic able to, after making that shot fake and swiping through, he essentially has an easy lane to the basket, because when he steps through, remember that pivot foot that he sets this pivot foot. This is the pivot foot that can move, and so when he sets that pivot foot, he turns, does that shot fake, gets that defender over towards his left side. He's able to step through. Now with this step through, he's able to get that defender behind him, and then he has an open lane to the basket. I just really want to point out some quick high post moves and tactics that Jokic uses. He is actually a master at making that defender confused. So what we see here is something that is absolutely fantastic. So he fakes this dribble handoff here by looking at that player. This is now getting this player worried that there may be a loop pass over top of the defense. Of course, Beverly has his hand out. However, what we have also is Jokic continuing looking towards that player, towards players on that side. That gets this defensive player with his right hand up really worried about a pass going out towards that side. And then as soon as he sees that this player has lined up his left foot where basically Jokic's right foot is, Jokic spins quickly off of him and then attacks the rim and then uses the rim itself as a defender. So how he does this is when he takes his 2 steps, he takes his second step very long. This will get that defender up in there because that defender thinks that you're going to be going up for a regular right-handed layup, but by going up on the opposite side, it's using that rim and mesh to your advantage, because now your main defensive player, who is right here, he cannot touch that rim or mesh, and if you can get your back to that player, that rim is now protecting over top, you can get in for that reverse. The only person you really have to worry about is, of course, Kawhi Leonard, but if he's not in position to block it, then you're all set. This is also another very good move where you can drive baseline, get underneath that rim, go up. Like if you're going to go up for that reverse shot, if that gets that player up into the air, what you can do now is step through, because that's your pivot, and now you can go for a reverse on the opposite side. It's a fantastic move, and I really wanted to point that out. So something else that Jokic does too that confuses a lot of defenders is when you shoot, if you're right-handed, generally you're jumping off of this left foot, which doesn't get you all that much space between you and your defender. There's really not much space there. However, if you can then jump off instead of your right foot, which is what Jokic does, and then spin your body around so you're square or tilted away, however which way you like to shoot from the rim, then you're able to get that shot off, and look at the distance that he's created. So normally when you go up for a shot on your left leg, if you're right-handed, the ball is going to be right here and it's going to be easily blocked. However, by jumping off of your right foot, you can create that extra 2 feet of distance, which then makes it really super hard for that defender to block your shot. And this is something that Jokic does quite often. So here we have him again, high post, shot fake, tries to act like he's going to step through, pivots one more time and shoots off of that right foot one more time. And he's obviously able to make it. He's practiced this shot probably a trillion times. But instead of jumping off of that left foot or both feet, he creates that extra 2 feet of distance, gets a lot of high arcing shot, and he's able to make that shot. It's all about footwork. Creating that extra 1 to 2 feet of difference is a huge, huge factor in how he plays. Now, I hope that this video has helped you become a better low post player. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe. Of course, every single piece of equipment that I use is down in the description, like this Evolution basketball. So make sure to go check out what I use for videos as well as for basketball. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys again next time.